All right, so I wanted to go over this. This is where things got a little hairy. When I came out the other night, last night, I had just put out that we didn't give up the Clippers pick. That was completely wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought we had 2 picks that year, but we're going to clarify everything here. Details on the 76ers picks to the Celtics per sources. 2028 first round pick that could convert from a first to a swap that is more favorable to Boston. 2031 unprotected Philadelphia first. 2028 second round most favorable of Golden State, OKC, Milwaukee. 2030 second round pick most favorable Washington, Portland, Phoenix. Now, upon seeing this, I thought it was a 28 to where maybe if Clippers have a really bad pick, we get to keep it, blah, 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 blah. But you do a little bit more digging over here, and Adam Aronson, Philly Voice, they put out the Philadelphia 76ers future draft picks. So you can kind of see exactly what we have moving forward and see exactly what we gave up here. So in 2027, the Sixers have their own first round pick. They have their own second round pick. This is fantastic. Next year, we can expect to bring another player in the first and the second, continue building depth on this team with what we now have available. This will be huge for us. Also, if we decide to trade it, we have it available. The Sixers also own the more favorable 2027 second-round picks of the Phoenix Suns, Golden State Warriors. The Sixers gained this pick in a trade with the Washington Wizards in 25, which included Reggie Jackson and Jared Butler. The Sixers own the most favorable of 2027 second-round picks of the Oklahoma City Thunder, Houston Rockets, Indiana Pacers, and the Miami Heat. The Sixers gave this pick in a 2026 trade with Oklahoma City, which included Jared McCain. So 3 second-round picks and a first-round pick here. Excuse me for that. A lot of draft capital at the beginning of next year. That's really good. 2028. The Sixers owe their 2028 first to the Brooklyn Nets with a top 8 protection. If this pick falls within its protection ranges, the Sixers will instead send their 2028 second round pick to Brooklyn. The Sixers owe their 2028 first round pick of the Los Angeles Clippers, but conditionally owe it to the Boston Celtics either as an outright obligation or a swap. The Sixers gained this pick in a trade with Los Angeles in 2023, which included James Harden, and sent out the conditional obligation in a trade with the Boston Celtics in 2026, which included Jaylen Brown and Paul George. If Los Angeles pick falls in the top 16 and the Sixers convey their own pick to Brooklyn, the Celtics have the right to swap their 28 first-round lesser of Boston and San Antonio for Los Angeles's pick. If Los Angeles pick falls in the top 16, but the Sixers do not convey their own pick to Brooklyn, Boston has the right to swap with whichever of the Sixers pick and Los Angeles pick is higher. If Los Angeles pick falls out of the top 16 and the Sixers convey their own pick to Brooklyn, Boston gets Los Angeles's pick. If Los Angeles's pick falls out of the top 16, but the Sixers do not convey their own pick to Brooklyn, Boston has the right to swap with the Sixers pick. The Sixers own their own 2028 second round pick unless they have to convey it to the Nets as a result of their 2028 first round pick not conveying to the Brooklyn Nets. So basically what they're saying is the Sixers will have a first round pick more than likely, but the highest is going to the Celtics. No matter what happens, the Celtics are going to come out with the best of three teams, I think it was, or 4 teams. So no matter what happens, Boston's getting that pick. Now, we do still have a pick, so that's still incredible for us. We still have a player that we can bring in that year. We potentially have a second, depending on what happens with Brooklyn. So 2028 is going to be a weird draft, but we should have the answers pretty quickly into that season on how things are going to go and give us a better idea of what we're going to be looking at there. So long story short, the Celtics own the best pick available out of what we have available, but we will end up with something else unless one goes to the Celtics, one goes to Brooklyn, then we go to the second round. But it's confusing, but that's the best way to put it. We did essentially lose that Clippers pick. We're definitely hoping that the Clippers aren't absolutely terrible anymore. I'm sure there's a way that we could get involved with another high pick, but it looks like we're going to lose that pick at the end of the day. And then at the end here, the Sixers own the most favorable and least favorable 2028 second round picks of the Golden State Warriors, Milwaukee Bucks, Oklahoma City Thunder. The Sixers gained the Golden State pick in 25 with a trade with Washington and gained Milwaukee and Oklahoma City picks in 26 trade with Oklahoma City. They will send the most favorable of the 3 picks to the Celtics as a part of the 2026 trade with Boston for Jaylen Brown. The Sixers also own the 2028 second round pick of the Detroit Pistons with a top 55 protection. Never heard of that before. If the pick is not conveyed to the Sixers in 28, the Detroit Pistons' obligation will be extinguished. The Sixers gained this pick in a trade with Detroit in 24, which included Daniel House Jr. Gross. Bad memories. Okay. So round one, own LA, Boston, or SAS, dependent on conditional outcomes listed above. Round two, own unless 2028 first round pick is 1 through 8. Second most favorable of Golden State, Milwaukee, OKC. Least favorable of Golden State, Milwaukee, OKC. Detroit if it falls from 56 to 60. So super complicated, super ridiculous. I don't even think I completely understand all of that, but that's the best way that we're going to have it explained to us today. I hope you guys understood that, but 27, we're good. 28, it's going to get a little wishy-washy. Moving on to 29, the Sixers own their own first round pick. They have the right to swap first round picks with the Los Angeles Clippers with a top 3 protection. The Sixers gain this right in the 2023 trade with the Los Angeles. So we still have 29 Clippers first round pick, top 3 protection. If it hits 4 and anything under that, obviously we get that pick. So a first round pick and a pick swap in 29. We also own our own second round pick. So that's going to be a very lucrative year for us. A lot more assets there. 2030, we own our first round pick. We own the second round pick. We owe our second round pick to the Dallas Mavericks. This is from the Caleb Martin, Quentin Grimes trade. The Sixers owe the 2030 second round pick of the Washington Wizards, are more favorable of Portland and Phoenix, whichever is less favorable. The Sixers gained the Washington pick and more favorable in the 25 trade with Washington and traded the more favorable of those 2 picks in the trade with Boston. So we own our round 1, and then in the second round, we have the less favorable of Washington and the more favorable of Portland Phoenix. 2031, we owe the first round pick to the Celtics. This is completely unprotected. That's their pick no matter what. We're definitely hoping that we're continuing to build in the right direction. That way that one falls in the 20s and doesn't end up being a super high pick. So for 2031, no first, but we do own the second. And then for 2032, we own our own first round pick. And then we gave the Grizzlies the right to swap away 2032. In 2032, we own our first and the second less favorable of our own in Memphis. 2033, we own our first and second. So all of that to just say, we have a lot of draft capital right now. We have a little bit out to the Celtics. We have a bunch of swaps here and there, but we have a ton of draft capital. And I don't remember the last time the Sixers actually had this much draft capital to go out and do something with. So that in its own is super, super exciting. Maybe we can package one of these low-level players. Maybe we can take someone we're not thinking about, trade them, add a couple picks to it, get another young player, maybe a backup big, someone who can kind of fill out this rotation, fill in for Embiid throughout the year. We don't need a superstar. We don't need anybody crazy. We just need someone who can cover some interior defense and keep us together in the Joel Embiid-less minutes or games that we have to deal with.